Jack in GVGCast episode 52. Execute. Hell yeah. Welcome everybody.
That's like the fifth time you've used that intro.
But you knew I was going to do it today because today is the actual launch day of Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Y'all put up with so much. Thank you. No, hi there. Welcome. I'm your host for today, Ash Paulson, and I'm joined as always by my good friend and GVG co-founder, Derrick Bittner, our amazing art director, Daniel Alba, and our equally amazing video editor, Brandon, the Miracle Man Miracle. How's it going, guys?
Also, voice of Godding it today.
Yes.
Hello.
Voice of Godding it today.
Hello.
This is actually the first time I've gotten to do a show with you, Brandon, in like forever.
I know.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Trying to force some free time in so that I can do this at least every other week.
I'm so glad because when you were last on, I was at PAX East, so I was like, he finally gets on another GVG cast, and I'm not here for it. How dare he? How dare he do that?
I'm here now.
You may be noticing that we have a distinct lack of Steve, and that is because he is doing something with his daughter tonight. I think it's a school-related thing, but yeah. He's on parental duty tonight, so he's all right. Don't worry about him. He's good, but we're holding down the fort while he is on fatherly duty. And how's it going, everybody? How's your week been?
Oh God, I've had a week.
I know
you and I have both have had a week, Daniel, but you go first.
I guess mostly on Monday. It was it's related to tax stuff, which is never fun. I have been to 3 places, 3 offices. They don't know how to do my taxes. The people who are supposed to do taxes don't know how to handle my taxes. Partially because I worked at a foreign agency over in the UK, but so I don't actually have a W-2. I have my invoices. And so Brandon knows what I'm talking about because we worked at the same place. It's a messy thing. I have to go on Saturday to figure that out again. And that's its own. No one wants to talk about that on the show. So the other thing that happened was freaking my internet was hiccuping and dying. Like my Ethernet was having the worst problem on Monday. Everything else worked. I was resetting the modem and router over and over again. I had no idea what was wrong. Had to sleep on it, and then the next day, I think I figured it out. So I went and I wanted to test my switch downstairs to that Ethernet. That's right next to the actual router, and then I found out that the router itself, the Ethernet cable that's coming out, that the end part was going back into the router, so there was a big loop. Which was apparently confusing the router because it couldn't find the IP address. I don't know I mean, I live with kids, so I'm not going to point fingers, but I have a feeling what happened. And so I stuck that back into the TV where it belonged. Everything started to work after that. So thankfully I'm here today. Unfortunately missed out on some streams and such because of that, but thankfully now we're all working better together. And other than that, thankfully we had some really exciting reactions to have in between that time then and now, so it's looking better now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
What about you, Brandon? How's your week been, man?
I've had a similar but different kind of hell that I've been dealing with.
Right.
Boy.
Oh man. For those of you who don't know, I am on a medication that suppresses my appetite. It has some pretty gnarly side effects, and I recently upped my dose. And those side effects are really starting to hurt. So, been having a lot of severe stomach pain.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
I slept it off for a little bit earlier, and I seem to be okay now. Yes, Dead Alpha Lion, it is Ozempic.
No.
I'm doing my best though. I wanted to be here, so I decided to voice of God because you don't need to see what's going on.
Oh man,
yeah.
I missed you this week for streaming. Hopefully you feel well enough for the next week. But yeah, I hope you get better soon, man.
Yeah,
I think I'll be okay. Everyone eventually gets used to the side effects. I'm 7 weeks in, and it just kind of started happening. So we'll see what happens.
Yeesh.
Well, I'm glad you're hanging in there, man. How about you, Derrick?
This week itself was kind of good, but it started off not so great because of I'm the reason the show was canceled last week because Ash wasn't.
I was in Vegas too, to be fair.
You were in Vegas, but that was planned.
Yeah.
You know,
that was planned. Yeah,
that was planned. You were going to have a time to just relax with your wife, which was all good.
Right.
But so last Friday I was making food for the kids, specifically Kai, and I was gonna get him just like a PB&J because he likes those, just for something to eat, just to hold him
delicious,
hold him all over until dinner. But all of a sudden he comes to me with a macaroni and cheese box. Well, he's like, well, he never comes to me with this. So okay, I'll make him macaroni and cheese. Unfortunately, as I get the pot of water boiling, get it all set, and he starts wanting to get in there and grab it, and I'm pushing him away to try to stay away from the stove to try to not be there. And as I had the macaroni in, so I'm trying to stir, and as my both hands are busy at the moment holding onto the pot and also trying to stir it, as he's trying to get in there, he got a lucky shot onto the handle, tipped it down, and unfortunately the boiling water went on him. Thankfully, not all of it. Thankfully, he was wearing clothes. I immediately stripped him of those clothes. We got him in the tub. Amy put aloe on him. Got him some stuff. But yeah, we've had to take him to the ER in order to get looked at, because he had, as he was sitting in the tub. And I'm not going to get too descriptive, but
of course,
imagine a fast-acting sunburn.
Oh man, poor
except
kid.
A bit more raw underneath, and he was screaming the entire time. It was just not so good.
That was scary.
It was terrifying. So we tenderly got his shirt back on him since so we could put him in the car seat to get him to the ER, and they saw him, and basically he got 1st and 2nd degree burns from the boiling water. But thankfully, because he's so young, he is healing very quick. So basically every day we have to layer him with bacitracin on the open wounds, and then wrap him up to keep them all set. So we've been doing that each day, and because he's so young, it is healing pretty quickly. It's definitely looking way better this week compared to last week, and we have one more follow-up to do to make sure they're okay. And the other very fortunate thing is it didn't hit his face, didn't get his hands. It is all around the rib areas and missed like his nipples, so there's no like cosmetic damage or anything like that. It's just all skin. So we got all that. So now the fun part is just waiting for those medical bills.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, the most important thing is he's okay, and I'm so glad he is.
I feel like he's already looking better. I feel like in a week and a half, it'll probably be fully healed. Right now, other than the really bad spots, the rest of it is just looking like bad sunburn.
Gotcha. Well, so, obviously, he has all of our well wishes. I can see everybody in our YouTube chat and live audience chat, or for our patrons, are all wishing him a fast, speedy recovery. So he's got a lot of love and good vibes coming his way. I appreciate it. It's just one of those unfortunate. You feel guilty because you're trying to keep him away, and he still got through it, and that's not so good. But even as soon as getting back from the ER that night, he was feeling better. Like he was acting normal. So like he walked it off pretty well, and he's already adjusted to it. Like I got him into the bathroom tonight. Got his shirt off to get the what we needed to do to change the bandages, and he just hopped up on my lap because I hold him while Amy puts the stuff on, and he's like, all right, get it done, whatever. I love that. Well, he's a tough little kid, and I'm glad he's having a speedy recovery.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, as I did mention briefly, I was in Vegas last week. That's one of the reasons if there was going to be a show, I probably would not have been on it. But yeah, my wife and I had not gotten to go anywhere together really since before the pandemic, where one of us didn't have to work all the way through. So it was just a few days where we got to go and just chill and enjoy being together. And it was something we hadn't done in so long. So we had a great time. For us, Vegas is like a quick staycation. Like it's a 4-hour drive away, basically. So we had a great time. And this week I've mainly just been, the usual, working and doing, Patreon stuff and day job stuff and kind of business as usual. The one thing that kind of sucks, though, is I'm obviously the Mega Man guy, but Amazon screwed up my pre-order of Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. So I just canceled it because they delayed it indefinitely and couldn't tell me when it was even going to arrive, let alone ship out. And I'm like, well, I miss out on the pre-order bonuses, but it's really just a couple of like skins for the rappers in both collections and then 4 music tracks. And I'm like, I hate to lose out on that stuff, but I want to have this and play it on launch day, so I'm gonna go pick up a copy from a local store after the show tonight. But I wanted to have it by now. I would have loved to have done like a launch stream, but at the same time that would have gotten in the way of GVGCast, so that probably wouldn't have happened anyway. But I will be getting it. I'm wearing my shirt. I got my Mega Man mug over here with coffee, so I'm Mega Manning it out today, and I'm super excited.
I've got good news for you, Ash.
What's that?
I caved.
You caved? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no!
I was trying to convince Brandon last night, super late,
Brandon,
to get it.
How are you going to find the time to beat 6 RPGs before the release of Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, there's no way that's happening. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to play the first Battle Network over the next couple weeks, and then this will just be a game I return to gradually over time.
That sounds about right.
Choose your battles now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you play through them in order, which you definitely should, you'll see how Battle Network 1 is like, it was clearly the starting point for a series that would grow into something much greater. It's still, like, I still think it's aged okay, but pretty much all the sequels are better, except for maybe 4. But yeah, you're going to have a great time.
That. Yeah,
I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I can't wait to start. I mean, like you just said, Derrick, I can't wait to start playing them, but there's no way I'm going to be able to finish all 6 of them, even let alone 3 of them before Zelda comes out, I'm sure. So it's going to be more of a fun thing just to kind of chip away at more than anything. But I'm just happy it's here. I hope it's selling well, and it's always exciting to have any new Mega Man release these days. So yeah, it snuck up on me. It's funny. It felt like, man, April's so far away. Man, it's really taken a long time, and it's here. And I'm like, wait, no, I need it to be out like a few weeks out because I'm not ready for it.
Well, that's the thing. It's coming out right around a lot of other things because we didn't get a chance to talk about this last week, but we got release dates for the Pixel remaster. So there's 6 more games coming out. And then there's Advance Wars. There's 2 games right there. And that's not even to say the not compilations that are coming out. So dear God.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And I'm looking forward to the Pixel remasters as well. But yeah, when am I going to play them? I don't know. I haven't even finished Hi-Fi Rush yet, and that came out in January. And I'm chipping away at Metroid Prime Remastered as well. It's crazy.
I'm still chipping away at Resident Evil 4. I just got to the playing as Ashley bit.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, and my wife and I just started playing Fatal Frame: Mask with the Lunar Eclipse together, so we'll be chipping away at that too, slowly. But and to answer your question, SMCS in the YouTube chat, the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters are what we're talking about. But we were just talking about Mega Man, and speaking of a particular Mega Man, we have a sponsor for today's episode, and it is, as always, The Game Orb. The Game Orb is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu can be seen on the channel along with others, the Game Orb will also now be adding Splatoon 3, Super Mario Sunshine, and Fall Guys to the gaming collection. So please do subscribe to the Game Orb at the link in the description, and of course I have also pinned a link to his channel in our YouTube chat as well. So please do go show them love. They've been supporting us at our highest Patreon tier from the very beginning. So we can't thank them enough, and they've been showing us plenty of good vibes over the years. We had to think the years. We're over 2 years old now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of you guys showing us love, there are a ton of super chats already. So I'm going to read a few of them out, and then we're going to move on to some news. So first off, we have $5 Canadian and 50 Canadian cents from Owen Menning. Thank you, Owen. Hi, GVG. What do you call a Nintendo game where you buy extra lives? Pay per Mario. Also, did the music slap in that Tears of the Kingdom trailer or what? Love the cast. Well, thank you for it did. Thank you so much for the dad joke and for the donation, Owen. Really appreciate that. And yes, absolutely, the music slapped, and we'll be talking about that soon enough. So thank you. Next up is Disney Duncan with $2. Thanks so much. Where was everybody last week? Bingo. Nice Resident Evil, nice RE4 reference. I love that. Does he still say it in the remake?
That was in the demo. That was like
okay.
I was in the demo.
Never got to the end of the demo.
And
That's
World
how
Rejoice.
I played the demo. I just never got to the end of it. That's how crazy busy it's been. I'm so glad he still says that, though. That's great. And then we also have another one from Disney Duncan for $5. Thank you. I hope that design for Ganondorf is used in the next Smash. I think you and the rest of the internet hopes that design for Ganondorf is used. Yep.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I hope so too. Clearly, yeah. And we'll be talking about him too later. Next up, we've got $5 from our good friend Jaden Buck. Thank you, Jaden. Crazy Question Fridays. Crazy question number 78. Has there ever been a company that you wish you could take over so you can fix their biggest flaws? Yes. Yeah. Capcom. Nintendo. I want to force Capcom to make Mega Man games again. So yes.
Konami.
Capcom. There you go.
Konami's the easy one for sure. Although they've been slowly getting there. They've been gradually improving.
Gradually. I still don't have a Castlevania in my hands, so.
Man, well, I'm torn between Capcom and Square Enix because I also want to force Square Enix to make another Chrono game. So that's hard.
I'm so frustrated for you, Ash. Capcom is so nice to me in comparison.
Yeah.
They love the Monster Hunter fans. They love the Resident Evil fans. They love the Street Fighter fans. And I'm a fan of, most of those franchises as well. But man, Mega Man gets so little love, even after Mega Man 11 sold according to their expectations. So I don't know.
Yeah,
being a Mega Man fan is tough.
I guess I handle Bandai Namco for how they treat certain remasters and other such games that still aren't even available in English out here. But that's its own topic.
I mean, She Says got me thinking. It's like, or I think what She Says it got me thinking about this as far as Capcom. Where's our Resident Evil Classics collection? I want RE 1, 2, and 3 in its original form. Cool. That'd be. Put a nice collection.
Code Veronica.
Plus, Code Veronica needs some love too.
Yeah, good. Put in Code Veronica. Yeah, go for it.
And speaking of Ganondorf in Smash, Neoxin, you're so right. He desperately does need a moveset rework. He does. Next time he's in Smash, I would love to see his moveset reworked from the ground up. Absolutely, and not just be kind of a weird offshoot of Captain Falcon. So
he's a samurai now.
Yeah, exactly.
His best look is when he's going Asian inspired, because Wind Waker is just as good.
Right. Well, speaking of Ganondorf, our next super chat from Jacob Tucker for $2, thank you so much, says, major congrats to Matt Mercer as Ganondorf. Hell yeah. Congrats to Matt. And I think we pretty much knew it was him from the sound of his voice, but it's nice to have
everybody expected it, but
we definitely heard it and knew it, and people were like, but we don't know. Like, who else would that? I played so many games with Matt Mercer and watched anime with Matt Mercer in it that I could not mistake that for anybody else. But it's great that he's excited to be in that role too, because it's weirdly come full circle for Matt Mercer and Ganondorf. But great choice, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
he sounds great.
On that note, our next super chat from Brian Rivero for $4.99, thank you very much, says, Ganondorf looking sexy. Hope Idris Elba voices him in the game. Well, as we just said, it is Matt Mercer, not Idris, unfortunately.
In the movie, maybe.
In the movie. You never know.
That'd be a great movie pick. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah. And then one more for now, because it's iconic to today specifically. Blaker36 with $9.99. Thank you so much, saying, Jack in! Heck yeah, Jack in, baby. Let's go. All right, so, of course, we can talk about Mega Man all day, but we don't have all day. So let's talk about Zelda. We've had a few days for that Zelda trailer to percolate. And I know that I've watched it multiple times. I'm sure you all have too. And have your thoughts changed at all or evolved from what they were when we reacted to it? How are you feeling about this?
Well, we need to get Brandon's thoughts at all, first of all.
That's true. Yeah, you weren't with us, Brandon. So why don't you start us off, man?
Oh my god, I love Zelda. Y'all know this. I've been hyped for this game since it was announced, and I'm glad to just have all of my feelings validated by that trailer. Like, I've been thinking so much about Zelda lore, and I've been playing Breath of the Wild again. It just makes me feel good. Like, Zelda is so comfy to me that a new big release like this just means the world.
Yeah. I pretty much agree. I mean, we all love Zelda here, obviously, and I was feeling a little weirdly ambivalent about Tears of the Kingdom leading up to that trailer, because I'm like, it's Zelda. I'm gonna get it day one. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not necessarily hyped. I'm not excited yet. And then that trailer dropped, and I'm like, okay, that is the trailer I've been waiting for. It's clearly the Tears of the Kingdom version of that epic Breath of the Wild trailer that everyone loved. And it is that, but for Tears of the Kingdom. And that was done. I'm done. I need it now. Right now. Like, before I was like, I can wait. No, a month is too long to wait. I need it right now.
I I like cringe a little every time I hear everybody say it's like month is too long. It's like, no, like I'm excited for it too, but I have a looming deadline. That's my deadline getting closer and closer. And that scares
I get you.
me.
Oh yeah.
I totally get you. Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. You look at this game and I don't want to see anyone saying this is $70 DLC anymore. This is like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so obnoxious.
But it's true. Like leading up to this, you saw so many of the footage and trailers. It just seemed like it was very desolate. It was just Link. You see Zelda, and it was just the world around him. But with this trailer, you see like there's the population, the civilization. Clearly, at least a year or so has passed since the last game, because some people are older now with their new design looks, and like Link is helping the population not only heal but also fight back, as we've seen with some of the with even just the Hylians. Like they have like buckets for helmets and pot lids for shields, and they're just fighting back at this point. So there's like more of a war going on. It's kind of leaning back into Age of Calamity, where they're actually actively fighting. And I'm sure most of the game is going to be still you exploring on your own in the vastness of the islands underground in Hyrule. But to see just to see validation that this is something to really truly be excited for, it was so good, and I'm excited.
The thing I've noticed for this one is that I don't expect it to have much more story than Breath of the Wild, to be honest. I think it's going to be on par story-wise with Breath of the Wild.
I hope
really.
But from everything we're seeing, lore-wise, holy crap. Like they are going hard on lore, because I'm seeing just all these. I don't want to discuss any of it for fear of spoilers for people that don't want to hear any of that sort of stuff. But we've been sharing some stuff in our own personal Discord, talking about that, and it's just like wild how deep they're going and the potential for some of this stuff. That's the thing. Yeah. If the story works in a lot of this lore, holy crap! But I'm keeping my expectations tempered for now. But as far as the game itself, I'm sold. I'm getting this game.
Oh yeah.
I agree there, Derrick. Like but that personally speaking, I don't really need a sprawling narrative. The parts that speak to me the most are those lore bits. Just that kind of let me explore those things on my own. I think I'm a bit more positive on Breath of the Wild's story than a lot of people, just because of how it characterizes Zelda so specifically. Like the story of Breath of the Wild is literally just Zelda, and this is who she is, and I like that a lot. So if we get some characterizations for like the new age champions and some other things that we've seen, but just go heavy on the lore, I'll be more than satisfied.
I mean, as long as other characters get that characterization that Zelda got, because she was probably the deepest Zelda, or at least had the most character to her. Certainly, I've come around a bit on Twilight Princess, but that Zelda is boring as rocks.
So boring.
She's not a person, unfortunately.
Yeah, basically. I'm really hoping there is at least a bit more present of a story. The memories were fine, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild story, but I thought it was fine. I just hope there's a little bit more to chew on here throughout the game, as opposed to just hunting down memories and then spending the rest of the game alone, which we're already seeing a little bit of. We're getting a little bit of not that with the trailer here. You get to fight alongside Sidon, for example. So I'm excited that there seems to be, So I'm excited that there seems to be a little bit more going on in the present, and not having everything happen in the past necessarily. But like you, Derrick, I am trying to keep my expectations in check, because I let my imagination run wild with what they might be doing with the lore in Breath of the Wild, and was let down across the board. So I'm really trying not to hype myself up too much about the lore, but I'm right there with you. The things they could be doing and the directions they could be going in are so exciting, and I really hope they deliver. But we also all know that Nintendo is all about gameplay first, story, lore, narrative second, especially with Zelda. So, trying to keep my expectations in check, but it's so easy to let my mind just run and wander about what they could be doing lore-wise, and I'm so excited.
I think I'm a little more positive on what they can do. I'm a little more expecting of what they can do with the story this time around. We have so many little breadcrumbs in that trailer. Like they showed a lot, but there was no context for like any of it. But you can connect the tissues in so many different directions between you see Tears and Zelda and other characters and what all that can mean. It's hard not to spoil what happened in the trailer without discussing what that is and just theorizing right now, because I'm thinking of stuff even as we speak. But I do think there's going to be a bit more focus on narrative. That they kind of saw that they push more with that in Age of Calamity in its own like it's its own bubble. But seeing now where it is, and now the time's moving forward, we're not looking in the past anymore. It's all in the present, as you said. So I expect a little more. Not like obviously not a grand scale of storytelling, but at least something that you can really that's for the fans, hopefully. Yeah.
Arkwing 24 mentioning our live audience chat that you still think Skyward Sword Zelda is up there for best Zelda. Yes, I completely agree with you, and I think Derrick would too.
Oh, absolutely.
She's a great Zelda too.
Oh,
yeah,
top 2 Zelda for me.
She's awesome. And Tux Ping also agree with you in our YouTube chat. I'd argue Spirit Track still beats Breath of the Wild Zelda, but you know what? Spirit Track Zelda is up there.
That's one of the few Zeldas I've not finished, so I've gotten a taste of what that Zelda's like, but not a complete look.
She's so sassy.
She's very fun.
I love Spirit Tracks. It gets so unfairly lumped in with Phantom Hourglass, which was truly disappointing, but Spirit Tracks is so good. I love it. Love it. You know what I'm also loving is that there is and I actually hadn't heard about this until we talked about it today, Derrick, but there is a Zelda Splatfest coming to Splatoon 3 on May 5th. And I hadn't heard about this until now. It just kind of passed me by, I guess.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, I wondered if they would do something like this, and
it's really perfect. Yeah. And it's going to have a Triforce themed stage, as you were saying, Brandon.
Yep, it's going to be the tri-color Turf War battle stage.
That is so cool. I love that. And of course, it's Team Wisdom, Team Courage, and Team Power.
They're going all out on merch as well. They're like selling the shirts that you can get one based on each one, $20 each. They're selling pins that you can get that show the Triforce with yours on it that represents yours. It's like. So cool. Nintendo's going to make some money on this one, I'm pretty sure. Getting that crossover between Splatoon and Zelda.
They are capitalizing.
Yeah. It's like, if this does well, I wonder if they'll use this more. For because they could have done this with Pokemon easily back when they did Which Starter. So.
All right, we all got to stake our claims then. Let's go around. Which teams are we on? Which one do you want to claim? Derrick, to start with you, man.
I was split between Team Courage and Wisdom, but when I realized, then I remembered Zelda's my main, so Wisdom.
All right, Brandon.
Man, I'm just on that Ganondorf train right now. I'm looking at Team Power.
Fair enough. What about you, Daniel?
I'm similar in situation as Derrick. I'm on probably Team Wisdom because love me Zelda in every iteration. Every Zelda has something good about her, honestly. But I'm probably Team Wisdom in my case. What about you, Ash?
Well, we got a nice even spread then, because I'm a little conflicted between Wisdom and Courage, but I think I gotta go with Team Courage at the end of the day. I love Link as a character, especially Wind Waker Link. Link embodies courage, so I think I gotta go Team Courage for this one.
There you go.
We have a nice even spread though. I like that.
The map leaves me with a question though, because previous tricolor Turf War maps were based on other stages. This takes place on Scorch Gorge, but it's a completely unique design. And there's an even amount of space between the 3 spots. So is it still going to be 2v2v4 or is it 2v2v2 now?
Right.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting. I wonder what they're going to do with it. I don't usually go out of my way to do Splatfest unless I just really have nothing else going on because I'm a very casual Splatoon player. But this one, I want to go out of my way to participate in. Hell, we should stream it if we can.
That'd be fun.
Be a lot of fun, I think. At least do one stream. I think.
But then we have to coordinate on one team, and we're all split.
We all have to go.
You'll just have to all be Team Wisdom, I guess, because majority rules.
Yeah.
Oh, well, seriously. There you go. I mean, I can't. As much as I want to argue, well, we'd have to get Steve's thoughts though too, and John. We have to see what teams they would pick. So I have a feeling Steve would pick Courage just because he loves Link so much.
Oh, I thought he picked Power because Ganondorf.
I think
John's going to be Power.
Yeah.
I think John's going to be Power. I think Steve might be Courage, but I'll have to ask him later.
I can see him picking Power.
Yeah, maybe. So the FA54 mentioned that it was only announced today, and I came into this show super hot today because of work, so that's why I didn't hear about it until now. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I love when they do themed Splatfests that are not just generic flavors of ice cream or something. You've got the TMNT one was awesome. You've got a Zelda one now. I love when they kind of venture outside of regular stuff and do crossovers.
If you want a shirt, I'd recommend getting them now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Those are
probably
gonna go
true.
quick.
Yeah, they are. That's for sure. For shirt, actually.
Oh, God.
Anyway, well, we do have one more presentation that happened this week that we should reflect on a little bit, and that, of course, was the Final Fantasy XVI State of Play. And actually, neither of you, Daniel or Brandon, were with us for that, and so I'd like to start with you guys. Did you watch the presentation? Where were you on FF16, and where are you at now after this presentation?
Yeah, I was watching that with you guys just after, because I was honestly, I was just tired. I was
Totally,
we
man.
reacted in the morning, and
Yeah.
then I was doing a stream right before leading up, just talking about Zelda, and yeah, I was watching it, and wow, this game looks incredible in combat.
It does.
Like, it looks gorgeous. There's so much action. You can totally see where Devil May Cry is having its influences in this. Absolutely. And God, it looks incredible. Like, I wasn't really, I was very like neutral on this game for the longest time. Like, I didn't really know what to think about it because it's Final Fantasy, but obviously they're kind of leaning in a different direction. But everything looks so cool with like Ifrits, and now with Phoenix being a headliner. The way that the battles are just off the wall anime as hell, and it especially when you're fighting the icons, is that what they call them?
Yeah, icons. Yeah.
Oh my god, and all the callbacks to different just those some and those creatures from past games as well. Just seeing the scope of it is incredible. And I don't know, I really like how they're doing like 3 different ages for the main character, like 3 different time periods for them. Just kind of seeing how that's an interesting narrative that you don't ever really see at all in a game like this. But yeah, really curious to see where it goes. I don't know if I have time for it, but I'm gonna try to make time for it.
For sure. What about you, Brandon?
I admittedly have not watched this yet. As excited as I am for this game, but
you should check it out.
I probably will.
You definitely should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is it swayed me. Like, I mean, y'all know I love Final Fantasy, but I've been kind of feeling a little ambivalent on it so far. And while I still don't love the character designs and like the kind of dark European style fantasy thing, I do love what I saw in that State of Play. That battle system looked intense. The visuals are unbelievable, and the music sounds great, as it always would for Final Fantasy. So this moved the needle for me a lot. I know, Derrick, you were waiting. You're like, is this going to be the one that you've been excited? And I've just been I don't know.
I've been interested for a while. I've always been. I mean, it helps that it's Yoshi P. That's a big thing for me.
Sure.
I know he's had his unfortunate comments and all that, but it's as
Yeah.
other people have pointed out, it's like, well, why aren't Western developers getting asked the same thing? Because there's a lot of big Western games that have those same issues. So
yeah, and I mean, to be fair, we were just talking about Nintendo, and Neoxin pointed out in our YouTube chat earlier that as cool as it is that Matt Mercer is playing Ganondorf, it does continue a troubling trend of white actors getting hired to play characters who are people of color. So, it happened with Riju too, I believe. So, it's not. We talked about it with Yoshi P, but
it's imperfect, and that's just unfortunately the way it is. And hopefully, just maybe you'll see the reaction be like, let's try to be better. Because if there's one thing that seems to be the case with Yoshi P, is that he takes it in his stride and tries to fix things.
Right.
So if he continues, we'll see. But yeah, I was always excited, but I also was of the opinion, like, with me only being able to buy one game a month, really, do I get Street Fighter or do I get Final Fantasy? And I've been leaning more towards Street Fighter because it's more of a social game. So I'm like, this will give me the chance to hang out with people and all that fun stuff. It's have that sort of community aspect, potentially, especially because the game is looking so much fun. And that was sort of winning. And then this freaking presentation comes around, and I'm like, I have been jonesing for a Devil May Cry 6. This might get me my Devil May Cry 6 with a lot of other Final Fantasy aspects to it, and damn, that's tempting. And so I'm very split right now. But it's also coming out later, like towards the end of the month, so I might still just end up getting Street Fighter and just wait till July for Final Fantasy. But still absolutely pick it up. And I mean, it seems to be massive because they mentioned a post game, and I can't think other than the MMOs any kind of post game in a Final Fantasy game.
FF10 had some stuff, but it was really obnoxious to do. It was like really, especially FF10, the international/HD remaster. It had some like crazy super bosses, but it was kind of obnoxious and kind of grindy and not all that fun in my opinion. So, and I love FF10, so that's saying a lot. But yeah, there's some fun post game stuff in some other Final Fantasies, but it seems like they're really doubling down on that with 16, and that's definitely exciting.
Yeah.
I think for me, I got that dose of anime that I needed from that super flashy battle system, right? Because y'all know me, I need anime, I need that power of friendship stuff, and I don't know if we're getting that so much, but just how the combat's so Kingdom Hearts-esque. It's so flashy, and the crazy combos, it's so stylish, and it's like Kingdom Hearts and Devil May Cry had a beautiful Final Fantasy baby, and that's a sentence I never thought I'd hear myself say, but I am really it moved the needle for me. I am officially excited now, and we'll see where the story goes. I hope that the story appeals to me as much as the gameplay seems like it's going to.
It'd be cool if it gets a kind of Dragon Quest-esque post game, because some of the Dragon Quest post games can have like significant some pretty interesting story stuff happen. So to have some sort of follow-up to like an epilogue to some aspect of the story would be kind of cool.
Right. Well, we have talked about Zelda. We've talked a little bit about Mega Man. We've talked about Final Fantasy. But let's talk about Sega for a little bit before we move on to our Patron topics for the day.
Oh boy.
Because we have a pair of weird, potentially cool, interesting Sega news stories to talk about. But the first one is the one that is more exciting to me. And that is that we have gotten rumored footage, not only of a Persona 3 remake, but of a Jet Set Radio remake. And now I was aware of the P3 footage, and I had seen it a few days ago, but I had not heard about Jet Set Radio until we talked about it today, right before the show. And so, yeah, I'm looking at this footage. Daniel, you said you have reasons to believe that it could potentially be authentic. I really hope so, man.
Yeah, this was footage that was supposedly from Sega a while back, and it's embedded along with Sonic Frontiers footage, which ended up being true. And for those that have seen that, it shows Yukari and her persona using an attack on a shadow. The design of that is different from the Dancing in Moonlight, the dancing game iteration that we've seen her in before. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that just, it would be really high effort to make this fake or make it be fake. There's just so much about it that, and just rumors in general that this was a thing that's going to be happening. And that included with the Jet Set Radio footage as well. It more than likely, I mean, people are still hesitant to say yes or no one way or the other because this is Atlas. We don't know what Atlas has on their minds, really.
Right.
But at this time, like, I'm leaning towards it cautiously, optimistically, because it looks too good and too authentic to be like easily faked, especially when you have all the other facts and just other leaked information that can lean towards it, especially when you have, like, Sonic Frontiers. I think the Sonic Frontiers footage has an enemy that was in beta, but they didn't use that enemy in the final game, but that enemy design is in the art book afterwards. So that's kind of hard to fake as well. So just these little breadcrumbs that are like, I don't know if this is really something that we should just gloss over right now. So, but that's pretty much that story. And I'm excited because I want to see Persona 3 get a proper remake after what we have for
it. Often tops the charts as the most wanted remake for Persona. And after playing it myself, it needs it. It absolutely needs it because great story, fantastic story. The pacing is crap, especially going back to it nowadays. The pacing is so bad in that game, and there's certain ways you do it that there's just the way they lay out the social links. It's so like you could end up doing nothing because it's just the way it's all set up, and it's if they could go and really fix those aspects, because I know people want FES, they want the portable content and all that stuff, and that'd be great. But I think there's fundamental things that they could really improve for Persona 3 that just makes it flow better, that makes the characters pop. They could add stuff in that would really expand upon these characters and make it something special. And I hope that's the route they go, that just really does something with them, because there's a lot of potential there. And And make Fest less of a grind. My God, if they do that in.
That is the great debate. People are always talking about, is Fest the definitive edition, is Portable the definitive edition? Because they both have things that the other one does not. And it's hard to say one way or the other. I'm personally a fan of Portable more so. I did a whole video on this, so I don't know. Right. I'm just going to reiterate myself. But like, it has the female protagonist route, which I feel is the better route of that game. It doesn't have the epilogue, of course, because that was in Fest. And God, you don't really need to. It's controversial. You don't really need to play it. You just have to watch it because that's a hard thing to play.
That's all I did. It is such a grind fest. Was just so difficult.
They've thankfully added more accessibility options with difficulty just in like, you know, the more recent releases of Portable. And if they could do that for the epilogue for Fest and make that be less of a grind and be a little bit easier. Like, obviously you have the difficulty now, but also maybe a bit easier for players that don't know what they're getting themselves into. That'd be great. But just having that full collective edition where you can actually run around everywhere on the world map, play as the female protagonist because I love Kotone and I want her to show up in a proper Persona 3 a remake. There's so much about this that we can improve upon. And the pacing, absolutely. Persona 4 greatly improved on the pacing. Persona 5 is pretty good about that as well. And Persona 3, there's just long droughts of you doing nothing. Like, and yet the story is like probably one of the most fascinating stories for me once you get past like halfway through the game, but you have to grind all the way through to get to that point.
It takes a while. It really does. But I mean, if this is real, and hopefully it sells well, because I think tied with it, or at least not far behind, is Persona 2. And I'm serious. After looking up what I doing the research for that SMT retrospective and seeing what Persona 2 brought to the table, it's like, damn, that looks fun. And we don't have a complete version of that either in the States.
And Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment really deserve that as well. And I hope that's not far behind. But we know Atlas kind of shoves them under the rug for whatever reason or another. But yeah, I'm here remaining optimistic as a Persona fan.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I'm remaining optimistic as a SEGA fan overall, because I'm randomly reminded of a few scattered news stories over the past like couple of years where it was claimed that SEGA are planning to revive some of their old IPs, and then, you know, talk is cheap. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. That's probably never going to happen, but maybe that's what this is. If this is real, maybe that's, you know, we're seeing this reflected in Jet Set Radio, which I wish Steve was here because he and I are big SEGA nuts, and I know he would be popping off right now talking about a potential Jet Set Radio remake and just be super hype about that like I am, because I loved that game. I never got to play Future, unfortunately, but I loved the original. And God, a remake of Jet Set Radio would be just about the most exciting thing Sega could give me, I think. I'm trying to think that there are a few other things I'd really want, like a Skies of Arcadia remake, maybe. But
oh yeah, I would love that.
But oh man, but like Jet Set Radio is super exciting. Just the thought of them working on a remake. So it does seem as though there might be some actual there. Like this could actually be happening. Fingers crossed.
What are your thoughts, Brandon?
Jet Set Radio is really the only part of this that I have any experience with.
I love how it's me and Daniel are on the Persona side, you and Ash are for the Jet Set side. That works.
Nice and even.
So yeah, I'd love it if that were the case. I saw some people saying that the footage may have been like CG concept footage.
I saw that too.
I hope that's not the case, because I'd like to see both of these games come out, even if I'm not a big Persona guy. I want the Persona fans to eat too. So yeah, if it comes out, I'll get it.
Yeah. I've never played a Jet Set before, so there we go.
Oh man, Omni Nexus in our YouTube chat. That's a deep cut, but an awesome one. Burning Rangers.
I only know Burning Rangers because of the All Stars Racing.
Oh, that's such a good song, right? I love that remix so much. Well, we have one more little Sega thing to talk about, and this is a lot less exciting and more just weird. But out of nowhere today, Sega apparently are nearing a deal to acquire Rovio, who of course make Angry Birds, for $1 billion.
Why?
And it's like, what? Yeah, like, okay, like we were talking about this with John earlier, and it's like, John made the good point that Angry Birds is like, of course it's a big deal, but it's kind of just a legacy dormant mobile IP now. It's not as though it's like they're not still making Angry Birds movies and stuff. So like,
I mean,
this
are they
feels
still
like something
making
that's 5 years
money?
too late. Yeah, I guess they do. They must. I don't know what. It feels like Sega are like 5 years too late to this party. Maybe 10 even. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
They're going to do the reboot with Joker and Angry Birds, and that's how they're going to revive the franchise.
There you go. We'll get Angry Birds styled flickies in the next Sonic game or in Sonic Frontiers DLC.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say other than the fact that this is apparently happening. The deal hasn't closed yet, so it could still fall through, but SEGA clearly wanted to happen, and they got the cash to spend, $1 billion for Rovio. Okay, sure.
Not my first choice, but
no.
Yeah.
I don't know what buying them brings to them other than Angry Birds, and I guess that still does well. People know it, but
they're kind of bungling that franchise right now, aren't they?
I don't know.
That's what I thought. I don't really follow it, but
it's definitely not where it was in popularity from way back then. So it's a big mystery. Like, what are they planning? What are they cooking?
I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest.
Flickies with the Angry Birds.
There you go.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the second Angry Birds movie. It had some fun moments in it, but
did it?
Yeah,
I never saw it.
I liked it more than the first one.
I played the original Angry Birds a little bit, very quickly figured out it wasn't for me, and then just dropped it. But it's obviously was a sensation. Lots of people loved it, so good for them. But I feel like Angry Birds' time in the sun has passed, and I just don't know what Sega's trying to. Yeah, I don't get it. But hey, you know what? I'm not the person Sega pays to make these decisions. So yeah, okay. Well, that little bit of weirdness kind of rounds off our news for the week. But of course, we do have a bunch more super chats because y'all are so incredibly generous. And then we've got Patron topics to talk about. So let's go through a few more super chats here. First, we've got $2 from Zubmare. Thank you very much. Blossom from Blossom Tales versus the Fox from Tunic. I only played a little bit of Tunic, and I finished Blossom Tales, so I have to go with Blossom because I know more about her skills and powers. But I don't know about Tunic as much.
I think they mean Lily, because Blossom is the name of the kingdom.
Her name is Lily. Yeah, that's right. Lily from Blossom Tales. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Lily, because I just don't know the Fox from Tunic's. Like, I don't know his skill set necessarily.
See, I'd probably go with the Fox from Tunic because his game's harder. So I imagine he's tougher.
Way harder, actually. Yeah, Blossom Tales is pretty easy, fun, but I haven't played the sequel. I keep meaning to do that, but one of those games I'll get around to Sunday. Thank you, Zoop. Next up is Lizard81288 with $5. Thank you, Lizard. With the Super Mario movie out and doing well, are you excited to see Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong Project? Would you guys want a DK TV show or a DK movie? Yes. All of the above. Yes, please. Give it all. I want it all. I think his DK is awesome, and I can't wait to see what's in store for that version for his version of the character for sure. Speaking of the Mario movie, we got $5.50 Canadian from Bongo Lover, our good friend Bongo Lover. Welcome back. Just got back from the Mario movie. Overall, it was great, but I'm kind of sad there wasn't any bongo representation. DK should have drank animals. Sad face.
Oh my god.
That's for the next one.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to call up Chris Meledandri and let him know because I got him on speed dial. I'll let him know.
DK has his own bongos, so it's a hard sell.
True. Next up, Kaiser the Fighter with $2. Thank you so much. Gino from Super Mario RPG versus Edge from Mario and Rabbids. I don't know what Edge can do, but I feel like this has to be Gino.
I've not played Mario and Rabbids 2, so I'd have to go with Gino.
Yeah, Edge is that very edgy rabbit from the sequel.
Doesn't Gino also have that one move that if you time it right, you can get like max damage?
Yeah. Yeah, you could do 9999
Gino
if you
World.
time it the right way.
It's kind of hard to compete with that.
It's like frame perfect.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I would choose Gino, not just because I love Mario RPG and Gino, but just because of the moveset. And yeah, I don't know any other characters that can max damage if you do it perfectly in any other games.
Right. Yeah.
I did play Mario and Rabbids 2. Edge is fine, I guess.
Okay.
It's gonna be Gino.
She's got an arc, I guess.
Not Gino though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we got a pair of super chats from Archangel23XX here, and then we'll move on to our patron topics. So the first one, $5. Thank you, Archangel. Prediction. Tears of the Kingdom DLC where we play as the champions and Zelda. There's no way we don't get DLC, but what are your thoughts? My thoughts are we have gotten ourselves into trouble so many times hoping for playable Zelda, and it never happens outside of Hyrule Warriors. So I would like to believe it's possible.
But what if?
But what if? What if?
I remember.
I would love it to happen.
Just the other day, I mean, we were talking about the implications of Zelda's situation in this game. Whether is she like in a different time period, or where in the world what's she up to, and how it could play like it could play kind of similar to Paper Mario, where maybe Link will finish a dungeon and then we see Zelda's perspective in like some kind of enclosed area that she plays in, and then it goes back to Link again, and that just kind of back and forth until you finally find her again.
That also leaves room for a light world, dark world mechanic.
That's me fusing, getting stuffed up with that hopium and copium right now. But I don't know. I'm going to continue to cautiously believe.
I think Tears DLC where we play as the champions is a little bit likelier than Zelda.
See, I think it's going to be more like the original Breath of the Wild DLC, where it's extra challenges and a silly thing. Like maybe they could have like a specialized thing where you can play as other characters, but I doubt it.
Like realistically, ballad for the new champions, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I mean, even when they teased Champions Ballad as like story DLC, it was, but it was like the thinnest story DLC possible. Like, it added a little bit, but barely.
I don't even remember what it was, to be honest.
Right. So. Yeah. And then our second super chat from Archangel makes you think what's after Tears? Ocarina remake? Please. Yes, I would love that.
That'd be cool.
Or 25th anniversary's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. But where the hell are Wind Waker and Twilight Princess still on Switch? Where are they? It's so weird that they're still not here. Metroid Prime arrived before freaking Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. That's weird to think about. But Ocarina remake would be really exciting. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we'll read out the rest of the super chats at the end of the show, but for now, let's move on to our patron topics. And as a reminder, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming. We offer a wide variety of tiers you can support us at, but the producer tier for $10 a month is what allows you to suggest topics for us to discuss, like we're about to talk about now. So, Brandon, why don't you get us started, man?
This comes from Chris. Is that?
I think it's Triac.
Triac, yeah.
One of the biggest issues with Breath of the Wild was its lack of enemy variety. It seems like Tears of the Kingdom will rectify this issue, but only time will tell. What are some enemies you'd like to see return, or even what are some ideas for new enemies you might have? I personally would love to see Darknuts return. Darknuts would be one of my answers, but more specifically, I've always been a huge fan of Iron Knuckle from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
They just have this imposing presence that I really love. The Darknuts in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess were basically an evolution of that, where you kind of chip away at their armor. I think just having this imposing threat that, also has a sword and shield that you take the armor down is just a really cool idea. So having that back would be great. And I know we've seen at least one Zelda 1 boss return, but there's one in particular I'd love to have back, and that's Manhandla, because it's just a weird, stupid monster.
Manhandla in Hyrule Warriors was wild.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Manhandla return. I think for me, for regular enemies, I gotta go with likes. They're weird, they're creepy, fleshy, slimy, nasty things.
Oh god, and they could really
creepy.
mess you up if they take some of your inventory.
Your equipment. Yeah, your inventory, your shield, whatever.
Make me angry.
Take everything now.
Oh yeah.
So I'd love to see a Breath of the Wild take on likes, because they've always just been so creepy and weird. I want to see that in Breath of the Wild style.
For more realistic one, I would go with Wolfos, because we already have the Stalfos in there. So why not put wolf variations in there? That way you can get more bang for your buck. And they were always a lot of fun there. For the weird ones, I want to see a frickin' pea hat come out of the ground like an Ocarina of Time and chase them around.
Oh yeah,
things were scary.
Right?
Yeah, they were.
So menacing.
Dead Hand.
I was going to say Dead Hand. I want to see Dead Hand come back. Yep.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh gosh. I would love to see. So hear me out. With Majora's Mask, you would fight the Garo. The Garo enemies, very easy to fight. They're just like one hit. But the concept of them, they're one of the only enemies that actually talk to you, that talk to Link, that you can have a conversation with. Every time you defeat one, they give you hints to what to do, information about the story, or just lore about the area you're around. And I think there's a lot of ways you can expand upon that, where an enemy that you defeat, and then they kind of just give you hints or talk to you about, what area you're in, where to go, or where you can find like little secrets. That and the Garo Master, just really cool with the robe, the flaming sword. You can definitely like expand how you fight them, but I would love to see those return. Very, very, very niche pick, I think, but I love what they do and what they can bring as far as that's the story goes.
Well, Derrick, it's funny. You mentioned Manhandla, and I completely agree, but I still am not quite sure what Dig Dogger even is. And I'd kind of like to know. I'd like to see a new modern take on what the hell, like, you look at the sprite, like, is it an eyeball? Is it what is it? Is it an eyeball with little creepy furry legs? I don't know, but I want to know what it is. So I want to see a modern 3D rendering of Dig Dogger.
Well, there's artwork of him, and it's literally just kind of like a beholder.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's okay. I kind of wish I hadn't looked that up. That's really, maybe I don't want this in Tears of the Kingdom.
It's a little unsettling.
It's a little creepy, actually.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll rescind that one.
No. I also need to have Moldorm in 3D form. Big old hamburger monster from the older games. I want to see that big old hamburger in 3D glory.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm posting the Dig Dogger art in live audience chat, just so I don't have to be the only one to suffer. He's creepy, right? I don't like it.
Oh my god.
I don't like it one bit.
Is actually perfect for Tears of the Kingdom.
You
can find him on a sky island way up in the air, and he just knocks you off.
That's so good.
Oh god.
Just like the old days.
God, I'm also thinking of those enemies from Wet Dry World in Super Mario 64, where they'll flip you backwards, and you can lose a ton of progress because you'll fall all the way back to the ground. Those in Tears of the Kingdom. Holy crap.
Oh man.
Little wind-up toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
right.
they're like constructs.
If you guys want a boss that'll knock you off things, you got to bring back Moldorm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's what I mentioned, Derrick. Were you listening?
No, I was not, because
the hamburger monster.
I was looking. I was looking it up, so I had the name. I wasn't paying attention. Whatever.
It's funny because I looked up Zelda hamburger boss, and they brought up Moldorm immediately because everyone just looks up. That's exactly what they know what they're talking about. I forgot the name.
Well, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for this topic, Chris. That was this generated some really good discussion. Well, Daniel, why don't you go ahead and give us your topic, man?
Yeah, we're gonna hop away from Zelda for a little bit because mine comes from Colin saying, in Steve's Mario movie review, he mentioned the film potentially changing the status quo for how Mario as an RP is viewed and presented. In light of the movie's depiction of Peach, do you think the era of Peach being constantly kidnapped is over? And I want to say, I hope so. I really hope so. That is, it is a tired trope from the past that's kind of just worn itself on, and I feel like the Mario series, whenever they do it, it's kind of just out of, we need to have a story, we need to have a plot, we needed to have a reason for Mario to go around the world and stop a wedding from happening, which it was cute to see certain implications of that towards that you see in the movie, but here I think the games can go somewhere forward, and they kind of have been doing that here and there. You would see her more actively a playable character in games like the Mario 3D World, and after you beat Odyssey, she's kind of just on doing her own thing on a globe-trotting world tour, which is nice to see. But yeah, I really hope that we're going past that and to different plots. I love it. I loved how she was a party member along with Bowser in Mario RPG. Yep. I thought that was a really cool flip on the script.
And she was broken, too. She was the most broken-ass character in the game with group hug.
Yeah. And I hope like that. Super Paper Mario also brought the main four together, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser. And I just want to see more of that, because Peach is capable of a lot more. And the movie really wanted to put a stake in the fact that this character can be so much more. And But what do you guys think?
I want to say Miyamoto said in an interview, I think it was with Variety.
I think I know what you mean.
They've had desires to make her a playable character and have her own story, and that the movie was just a good opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm.
But now that they've done it, the floodgates open, so I could see them just pushing forward since we're already here.
Yeah.
I really hope they do. I'd love to see it. I mean, I don't know if it'll change the status quo. I hope it does, but at the same time, Nintendo themselves have challenged that status quo before in the past. Like we were just saying with Super Mario RPG, Super Mario Brothers 2. So she has had more active roles before, but it's certainly the exception and not the rule. And let's not do Super Princess Peach again. Let's not have her star in her own game where the whole thing is it's the power of her emotions. Like that's not a great look. Not do that again. But I would love to see movie Peach in a game. Like, I won't say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But like the stuff she does, she's so cool in it, and I want to play as that version of Peach in a game for sure. I mean, she's also in Smash though. So
well, I think the cool thing would be is that when we get Peach anymore, it's with those, it's like 3D World, where it's more traditional. I want to see a Mario Odyssey type game where you get to play as Luigi and Peach and whatever. I mean, they kind of did that with Mario 64 DS, but do it for a modern game with, those characters in mind.
Yeah. I agree. Also, Claxon, to answer your question, live audience, said, my audio skipped a bit, but I hope you said group hug. Yes, group hug. HUG. I promise that is indeed what I said. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really do hope this does change the status quo for Peach. I think really the only version of Peach I like more than movie Peach is maybe Paper Peach, and not by much.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not by much. Like they're really close. So yeah. Anything else we wanted to mention before we move on?
Nope.
The one thing I like about Paper Peach specifically is she's a badass, but she can still, be all princessy, and she's not ashamed to just be who she is. I feel like that got lost a little bit in the Super Mario Brothers movie, but there's sequels coming, so you never know.
Yeah. I love how in like the Thousand Year Door is probably my favorite interpretation of Paper Peach, where she's obviously captured, but she does a lot to help Mario from her position, as she does in the other Paper Mario games as well. And as you said, Brandon, like she's not afraid to. She'll doll herself up. She'll have like her ponytail up after she takes a shower, which is still a weird scene to have happen at all.
It's so weird,
But, and then, that game does some weird stuff with Peach, but I still appreciate that she's just down to do whatever she has to in order to help Mario along the way. And I want to see that more often.
Oh man, this is a deep cut. Mushworks, you're so right. Don't forget Super Mario Adventures Peach.
Oh, that's a great
She was
one.
awesome in that comic.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
She would dress as Luigi and be like your action princess. I love that interpretation. That's like the closest we got with movie Peach, honestly.
Yeah, and Alpha Line, I'm cracking up because I remember this. Color Splash Peach was good too. This is my friend Mario. I remember that line.
Yeah,
good. Oh, it's so good. All right, Derrick, why don't you lay your topic on us, man?
All right, mine comes from Andy Chung saying, how do you guys manage to have time to play multiple big games when they're close to release and finish them while immersed in them? This is related to Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy XVI, but also from my experience back with Breath of the Wild. And I know I'll spend more than 1 to 2 months on Zelda while Final Fantasy XVI comes out. With years passed by and my lifestyle is changing, it's hard for me to immerse myself with these games I really want to play to catch up on Game of the Year media. I feel that because that's having a kid changes that sort of thing. And you know what? Some of them you can totally play in front of them. In my case, it works out. Like I feel completely fine playing Zelda in front of Kai. He may be interested, he may not be, but that's going to be what I'm going to be mainly playing is when I'm watching him. But otherwise, I just grab what time I can, just any little bit. And the thing is, you might not be able to get that immersion like you can. Like I can only play Resident Evil 4 for maybe an hour and a half each night because by the time I'm done with everything else, it's usually around 11:30 or midnight, and I'm staying up till 1, and that's not always a great thing. So, you got to take it where you get it. So you get immersed in that moment, but you also have to actively pull yourself away. Because I could pull a Brandon and stay up till 4 a.m. because I know he does that, but I
wouldn't recommend it.
No, I can't do that when Kai wakes up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes 7. It's rough. So it's all about taking that moment when you can. Maybe not getting fully immersed in it, but you're making progress and still enjoying them. And that's when that's sort of what I try to do anymore, is just grab any of those moments you can to just, enjoy it. I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 since it came out in August last year.
Yeah. I mean, I totally hear you, man. It took
I'm
me
still
4.5
playing
months
it.
to finish it. Yep.
I'm still playing it. And we're just getting there. So, what about you guys?
Yeah, go for it.
Excuse me.
I've had to change a lot of my relationships with work-life balance. If you were to talk to me like a year or two ago, it was very, very unhealthy. Like, if I knew there was work to do, that's what I would be doing. And I would not allow myself to, pull away and try and relax some. So recently I've been trying to work on that. Bless you, Derrick.
I know your pain.
I muted myself so you didn't have to acknowledge me.
No worries, man.
So yeah, I've been trying to like willingly get myself, on the couch with a controller and try and decompress, because I was very bad about that and just not doing it, not leaving myself any time to relax. And like you said, Derrick, sometimes that can end poorly for me because, I do get sucked into a game and suddenly it's 4:00 in the morning and now I'm going to have a bad day the next day. So I'm still working out the kinks, but it's tough. I wouldn't say it's easy.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't even have kids. Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, no, you're already going in. Go ahead.
I don't even have kids, so I genuinely don't know how you do it, Derrick. And yeah, I don't, like, I'm already between, my day job and GVG stuff and spending quality time with my wife. Like you said, Derrick, my only time to, like, have free time to play games is, like, midnight or later. And I shouldn't be staying up all night playing video games, obviously, because I have to be up in the mornings. But yeah, I guess the main thing I try to do is I try to only play one really long game at a time. If I can. That doesn't always work out, but I try not to take on more than like one really meaty JRPG at a time. So like when I was playing Xenoblade 3, that was the only long game I was playing. It doesn't always work out that way. I mean, I'm chipping away at Octopath Traveler 2 right now, but I know I won't be done with it by Zelda. So there just isn't enough time, and I wish I knew of a way to fit more gaming in, but it's just, and I don't even have kids, so I don't know how you do it, Derrick.
Babysitting. Sometimes it works out and he's interested, other times not so much. It all sort of depends. Like, that's why I was able to play so much theater rhythm, because he let me do it, so he enjoyed the music.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
I am also on team no kids, unlike what half of our team or of our crew right now.
Yeah,
basically.
And it's hard, even with it's a weird situation right now because my whole life is different as it was also a year ago. I'm temporarily living somewhere else right now. I don't have kids. I don't have a significant other at the moment. So a lot of my time can be put into doing games. But at the same time, like, I'm also trying to work on stuff I have here.
Exactly.
Working on commission work, doing stuff for you guys, working on videos when I am, just projects on my own. And just in general, trying to, I guess it's that escapism that I try to delve into, because it's been hard for me in the last, like, at least especially 6 months, because I'm not hard to be motivated to do things. I've started to more actively look for jobs to actually be hired and do that. So I'm sure my life will adjust as that happens, but I'll end up staying up. I do a lot of my work late at night. I end up sleeping till pretty late into the day at this time, and then I'll wake up. I'll probably work on something on the computer, and towards the evening is when I either decompress or I'm working on more stuff. So I try to play games, just really focus on one at a time. Like, I was able to finish Resident Evil 4 Remake pretty quickly and pretty timely. Metroid Prime Remastered. I know that game like the back of my hand, so that didn't take too long, honestly.
Right.
But at this time, I don't know. It's hard to find a moment to really get yourself immersed into a game with other responsibilities that you have, that we didn't have these responsibilities 10 or so years ago. And it's just a little more difficult. I would love to be a little more active working, but I'm using the time as I have right now to kind of immerse myself with different games that I probably want to have time to in the future. But when that time comes, like, I'll still do my best to make a slot of time to be able to play games like Tears of the Kingdom. I'll probably have a lot of time to play that, but I know not everybody has that opportunity, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Never feel afraid to afford yourself a moment if you need it. That's, like I said earlier, that's something I had to learn the hard way.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I feel you there, because that's why I didn't play a lot of games back then.
But I feel bad if I'm not working, Brandon.
I feel
I'm cut
that.
from the same cloth.
I feel that.
And it's like, I gotta get off this bed or couch and get to work, but also I want to play something. So it's a hard thing to mentally struggle with as well. And I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I don't make it easy on myself by having these long ass videos either.
Right. And it is weird too, right? Because like I get that sense of even when I know I have a day off and I'm like, I'm so excited, I still have this weird sense of guilt, even though when I know that I don't.
Yeah.
Even though I know I have a day off and it's my day, I feel guilty sitting on my ass playing video games all day, you know. And so I try not to stop myself, but I sometimes will, because I'm like, I just feel like I'm not being responsible. But that also is not what that means. If you have a day off, you should enjoy it and spend it doing whatever you love, whatever that is. And so I try really hard to push back against that. Exactly. Yeah. So I try really hard to push back against that, but it can be hard. It can be really hard for sure. Well, thank you for that topic, Derrick, or for Andy, sorry, and Derrick, both of you. Before we move on to mine, I just want to point out really quick, I called it, I was right. I added Steve and John in our crew chat and asked which Splatoon team, which Zelda team. And Steve, like I said, is Team Courage. That's two for Team Courage, baby.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I sort of sworn he would be
Power.
Team Ganon.
I think we're going to have an even split, because I can see John going Power.
I think John will be Team Power, and then that's funny how that works out. But we'll have to find out what his official answer is later. All right. So my topic for the week comes from Wataniac, who asks, "What are some great games you can beat in a day and without speedrunning tactics?" LOL. So there are plenty of games out there you can beat in a day that are great. Obviously, I mean, I'm going to get the obvious ones out of the way first. Pretty much every Mega Man Classic game, every Mega Man X game, even though they're not all good. But yeah, there you go. A bunch of Mega Man games you can beat in a day, but also games like Rez and Tetris Effect and
Katamari
Katamari Damacy. Yeah. SEGA games are very good for this.
Super Mario Brothers 3, Sonic.
Yeah, there's so many. Sonic Mania.
Sonic classic games, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think classic games are typically, especially platformers, are probably good for this, but that's not all there are. Like SEGA especially too, with like games like Knights and stuff like that. So, and Rez Infinite, as Wataniac just said, I did play Rez, and you were right. Rez is one of my favorite games of all time. It can be beaten in much less than a day, and I absolutely implore those of you who have not played Rez, go play it. It's amazing. Rez Infinite is one of the best games ever. So, I mean, I named a bunch off there just now, but are there any you guys are thinking of that I have missed?
Breath of the Wild? No, I'm kidding.
Well, depending on what you do, if you're really good.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you can.
I'd be willing to say Super Mario Odyssey. Like the main campaign, if you're not just collecting moons for the sake of it, doesn't take very long.
That's true. And I guess by that measure, you could also say Super Mario 64 if you're not going for 100% completion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Portal, that's a good one. School of Rock and Roll. Portal's another good one. Definitely.
I was thinking of some other titles, kind of like A Short Hike or a Little Gator game. Those are
good
really
one.
fun and cozy to play.
Little Gator game.
Yeah.
Proteus is another one.
There's also games that maybe you can't beat in a day, but they also you can't really be beat. Like, if you really want, you can get through like arcade mode through most fighting games in a pretty short time. And
True enough.
Racing games, love racing games. So there's always that.
Star Fox 64.
One of the best. One of the goats. Hardy J. Raspberry, Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. All true. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a short RPG that I could suggest.
A short RPG.
Metal Slug. Especially because you always get those infinite continues for most of these games now. Most Kirby games, true.
It would be a really full day, but if you were to only crit path Chrono Trigger, you could probably do it in a day.
Fair enough.
But it would be a long day.
Final Fantasy IV, that's also true. Yeah.
FF4, yeah, okay.
Dragon Quest
so some older RPGs, yeah.
Oh yeah, Undertale. That's a good one. It's a pretty short
Undertale,
one.
Oh, yeah.
great one. Yeah. Turtles in Time, Shredder's Revenge. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of arcadey games for sure.
Oh yeah.
Streets of Rage 4, one of the best beat 'em ups ever. Yeah. So clearly there is no shortage of amazing games that you can beat in a day. So I thought that would be a fun topic to explore briefly. Any more you guys want to mention before we move on?
I mean, I guess I haven't said Castlevania, but Castlevania.
Oh, Castlevania. Gato
Enough
Roboto,
games
Oscar
the last
Hernandez.
couple months.
Yeah.
Gato Roboto is a great one, Oscar. Yoshi's Island, I think Ghostosaurus. I think you're right. Yoshi's Island can be beaten in a day. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
pretty
Easily.
short.
Yeah. So clearly, no shortage of amazing games to play out there that won't take you more than a day to beat. And that does wrap up the patron topics for this week's show. Thank you so much to all of our amazing, incredible patrons who submit topics every week. And we've got a few more super chats to read out, and then we are going to head out to our patron exclusive post show. So first off, we've got RecBCQ back with $1.99. Thank you so much. Get in DILF. That will be all. I mean, what more needs to be said? You're right. Can't say anything more. Now, Quartzite 12, I want to give you a shout out. You tried. You thought that because of a couple of weeks ago, you thought that because of a couple of weeks ago, I walked right into an obvious prank in a super chat that I would walk into this one. Well, I'm not. I see what you're doing here. $4.99. Thank you so much. Ash, could you give a shout out to Mike Ock? He's a big fan. It will make his day. Thanks. Cute. Cute.
You know what's sad? This time I missed it.
That's
really
funny. I love
I wish I had you read that one.
We should have, But,
hell.
Cute Quartzite. You tried it. I appreciate that. But you didn't get me this time. All right, next up we've got $4.99 from NMG with no message. I'm scrolling up to see if maybe...
right below it.
Okay.
Do you think Tears of the Kingdom will win the Game of the Year? That is hard.
Well,
you got Tears of the Kingdom, Resident Evil, you got Final Fantasy, Street Fighter. Like, holy hell, this is
year.
What's that?
It's a packed year.
Yeah, it
is.
Some solid remakes too that I
mean,
would argue also contend as well.
Dead Space, I want to try out. I heard great things about that. So Octopath is getting a lot of good word of mouth. Although I doubt that would win Game of the Year, but still,
probably not. I think what it comes down to is I don't think that Tears of the Kingdom will be able to replicate that oh my god aha moment when you first jump off the Great Plateau or whatever in Breath of the Wild. Like, it's got to do something else to kind of recreate that sense of incredible wonder, I think. But if it can do that, then yeah, I think it could definitely win Game of the Year. I just don't know. I mean, it's got some stacked competition. So it is unfortunately facing an uphill battle just by virtue of being a sequel to one of the most influential open world games of all time, right? So you can't be that influential twice in a row for the same reason. So if there's another reason that it can match that level of influence, then totally. But we just have to wait and see what happens with it. Thank you for that, NMG. Next up is Purity Chalice with a pair of super chats. First off, $4.99. Thank you. I'm late to the stream, but I echo RecBCQ's sentiment, and I'm here for the stream's title. Rehydrated Ganon can get it. Yeah, I think the internet agrees with you. Yep.
Before they officially showed rehydrated Ganon, everybody had their own interpretation of what rehydrated Ganon would look like, and they did nail down the big chest. And there was that meme for a while where they had people like looking at the big chest, and yeah, that's certainly the case with this one. My God.
Yeah. And then Purity Chalice's other super chat, also for $4.99. Thank you so much. I asked the others, but Brandon, what's your favorite rendition of the Starman theme from the Mario series? Mine is the Wingcap theme from Mario 64.
Well, there was a recent version that gave me goosebumps, but I don't know if I should talk about that one.
I mean, that's the one we said.
That's what we kind of said. So
okay, yeah, it gave me goosebumps, and then I saw it a second time, and I got goosebumps again.
Nice.
There you go.
I can't wait. I still have not seen it a second time. My wife and I keep almost going because she hasn't seen it yet, of course. And something comes up, life comes up every time. So I haven't gone to see it a second time yet, but I can't wait. But, well, that does bring us to the end of episode 52 of the GVGcast. That was our last super chat. Thank you all so much, as always, for hanging out with us every week, for all of your incredibly generous donations and just being awesome people here in our community with us. We love you all. Of course, we have to give a special shout out to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make this show happen, because without you, we couldn't do what we do and keep the lights on. So thank you so much for everything, you guys. And then, of course, we also have to give an extra special shout out to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those amazing, wonderful, incredible folks include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedran, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Blindman, Azran127, Black King, Pagrima, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Nathan Steele, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling, Hey Steve's Mom, Mega Ampster, Skullkid Tiger, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derrick, Colin, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dad Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Kyle Gamer, and Barry Rookie, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat EV Person 5, Lady Maxillary, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Jung Ant, and finally, last but certainly not least, Ryan Hanley. Woo! Thank you all so much. I love reading that list out. Thank you all. We love doing this with you every week. Thank you so much. Reminder, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming. We also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/officialGVG, where Daniel and Brandon are constantly doing super cool, super fun streams. So you should definitely go check them out when they do their Good Vibes Arcade streams. And they also upload their VODs to Good VODs Gaming right here on YouTube, just in case you can't catch their streams live. So that's it for us today. We're headed off to our Patreon exclusive post show. Good night. Good vibes. We are jacking out.
Till we meet again.
That's it. That's all I got. We're jacking out. Bye.
Yeah.